Three, two, one, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you're okay. It'll be super. I'll watch it on YouTube. You know you're being streamed.
We've got the pyrotechnics guys here as well.
Okay. So I'll be watching you.
Okay. Thanks, Ivan. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those things, if you're in any doubt, put them on the waist, make sure they're secured, because they're so light, so they'll blow out. And, you know, these, I've got one of these most tables that you can Oh dear, I'm feeling a bit nervous over here.
You're feeling nervous.
Yeah.
You're accustomed to this.
Hope I don't get heckled. I think people think I know a lot more than I do, but this is very separate scheme to the Warwick District Council. Oh well, we'll soon find out, won't we, darling? I can handle them.
Of course you can. And now we've got George.
George can smile.
With a bear.
Yeah. It'll be alright. They look friendly. It's a church after all, it's a church. And I'm being recorded. Can you send me a recording?
It'll be on YouTube.
Yeah. Can you send me a link?
It's on our church website. Our church, yes, I'll give you the get
So it's United Reformed.
It's United of Yorkshire.
Do you look amazing? Where's Harry Maker? I want my own Winnie Baby next time I'm coming out. What, somebody chasing around with a fire truck? You know? Oh, somebody remasking. Oh, there's Michael. I know him. I used to work with him. He used to be the chef at the Clarendon House Hotel when I was 18. I was a waitress. He was really grumpy, but I was used to make him laugh. And he used to make me things out of origami, just make me origami things as well. And showed me, hello darling, how to grow an avocado from just its pit. He did all things. That's it, with the little things sticking out of it. I feel like I'm in a dream. I think this is what happened to me. I just go off into a, just sort of cut off. I loved your cheese curd.
And the Dove Hamlet slot.
Oh,
I
and
only
your,
thought that
the moistness.
Big flex. Red Leicester. Yeah, that's it. It has to be Red Leicester.
Oh, was there a tiny supersonic paprika in there as well?
Yeah, I've got quite a little bit of mustard in. Not digested. I forgot that.
That's got into the pleasure dome.
Bit early when I was here.
Well done. What time are you up?
I was about 10%.
Well, me too.
Get up. I do, that's my normal get up. Anytime after 6:30. I'm always nice.
That's it.
7 o'clock when it's not nice.
I'm just winging it. I haven't done this presentation for ages. Oh well.
Please come back.
I've got my slides.
Oh. And these people sat down, they all make the start.
I just want cheese scones. If there's any cheese scones left, I'm going to have another one.
I'm just going to sit there a little while like that.
I'm taking up some fitness next week.
Oh, there's another one.
Not strong again.
I send over there just for me. Do the introduction. I don't know this lady. It's really good.
It's quite a good turnout, isn't it? Shall I take a little picture?
We have to see if they happen to have their picture taken, don't we? All this political correctness and stuff.
Of course. Do you want to steal their souls?
I know, that's what they believe, don't they?
Yes. We don't want any of that. No soul stealing. I don't want to, I'm going to have to send it off to Apple to see how many souls that are already in there. Do you know what I mean? We need to release them.
Poor things.
I know.
Right.
Alright.
Right, good morning, everybody. Hello. Hello. Good morning, and thank you so much for coming. It's my great pleasure to welcome you here to Abbey Hill, and I hope you're enjoying the coffee and teas and all the lovely cakes. And I have to apologise on behalf of the council, because on Thursday morning I received an email from the council saying that their team could not come and do their talk today because we're in a pre-election period, and the staff had been advised that they could not take part in any activities that might be election issues. So I have to say I was absolutely floored, and was absolutely virtually I couldn't do anything about it. But I'm absolutely well. it says a 6-week period. I thought it started. Anyway, that's what they told me. So I am actually delighted to be able to welcome Alison Firth, who is going to do her plastic-free Kenilworth. And Alison, as we know, is a member of the town council currently, but standing down and not being re-elected, but has been mayor, and she had her mayoral service here in this church, so she's a friend of ours. And we look forward to hearing what Alison is going to tell us on how the plastic-free is working in the Kenilworth area. So, Alison, over to you, and thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Anne. Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. And it's such a shame that Warwick District Council couldn't make it, because I think it would have complemented what I'm about to talk about quite nicely, actually. But never mind, let's get on with this. So, Plastic-free Kenilworth is a... Thank you, Bronwyn. I'll say thank you between the slides, because she's going to pop them across. Oh, I can't see it very well, actually. Plastic-free Communities is a scheme run by an organisation, a charitable organisation called Surfers Against Sewage, who initially started out working with plastic and any type of sewage or litter that was left on beaches. But they quickly found that the source of this litter and sewage comes from inland as well. So it's not just a coastal problem anymore, plastic pollution. It is a problem for all of us. So what they've done is set up this scheme whereby it's called Plastic-Free Communities, whereby somebody puts themselves forward as a community leader, as myself and Verity did, to achieve 5 objectives to draw attention to the use of single-use plastic. Oh, this is a bit sensitive, isn't it? Single-use plastic, because some plastic is very useful. Let's have a look. Have I covered up anything? Yeah, so Verity and I, we both have full-time jobs. I'm a driving instructor and a counsellor, as well as a town councillor at the moment. And Verity is an environmentalist. She also works getting people grants for charitable events. And she's also a yoga teacher and an artist. So we're both very, very busy people. But we took it into our hearts to do this. So that's us. But first of all, let's look at what plastic is. The focus of this Plastic-Free Communities is really on plastic that is really hard to recycle or not recyclable at all, and where we can eliminate it from our groups, our communities. So all plastic isn't bad. It's a highly durable substance, and as you can see from my slide, it's helped a lot from space shuttles to prosthetics, because that's a really durable and good use of it. And it suits its makeup, really, because that's going to last forever. We'd hope so in a prosthetic, wouldn't we, or thereabouts. Yeah, and it's made it easier to transport fruit and veg across the world, giving us more selection of produce with those horrible filmy things that come on top, but it's useful to us, you know. However, as we all probably know, it isn't biodegradable by nature. What does happen to it is it breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces that are eventually called microplastics. And indeed, every time we put a wash on, if we're putting anything like polyester in there, tiny little fibres fly off. So it's in our water system as well. And it's in most of us humans as well already. And most marine life as well. And this is how it gets inside marine life. You can see, I don't know what sort of creature it is, but it's approaching a plastic bag. And it thinks that plastic bag is some kind of food. It thinks it's a jellyfish or something. You know, they're not that, you know, they haven't got little analysis tests. They're just floating around and think, oh, yummy. But then, of course, oh, that's better. Hello. Then, of course, they eat this thing, and it provides them with no nutritional value at all whatsoever, but fills up their digestive system. So basically, these animals die of starvation. Next one, please. And this is a really horrific photo. It was taken around... I'm going to lie if I say I know where it's taken, because I don't. But this is a real photo, and this bird has basically been pecking away at little bits of plastic. And it thinks it's food, you see, it's brightly coloured.
and waxy. So it stuffed its little face with all those things, and it's not given any nutritional value, so it's died. And unfortunately, this plus animals becoming entangled in plastic netting, etc., is a really big, massive problem, and it's not on other people's coasts, it's right here on our coast of Britain. So here's some horrible statistics for you. I promise you this is going to get a little bit better as we go on. So look at how many tonnages there are of plastic. So 381 million tonnes per year, this is globally, and it's set to double in the next 15 years, unfortunately, and that's a lot of volume. And single-use plastic bags are completely avoidable, but there's 2 million being used every minute. A scary statistic, isn't it? And then the plastic straws, and in some countries they're still legal, still being used every day. And plastic bottles, look at that, 480 billion every year, but that's globally. So some of this we can actually avoid, and that's what Plastic Free Communities aims to do, with bottoms-up politics rather than bottoms-down. So here's some more horrible statistics for you. The government's all very well at talking the talk, but sometimes not so good at walking the walk, because it's difficult, you know. There was a documentary called The War on Plastic with Hugh and Anita, not quite sure who they are, but I saw a bit of it. And they discovered that despite government pledges, they were still finding difficult to recycle plastic being shipped over to underdeveloped countries, just so that they could have an audit trail that they'd sent it to a recycling plant. But these are not legal recycling plants, and these poor countries are taking the plastic on to make money, but they haven't got the facilities, and it causes all sorts of problems in the local environment. So, and another scary statistic is less than 10% of our plastic is actually recycled. And this comes from independent Greenpeace scientists, and they are independent. Greenpeace aren't lobbied or paid for by any external commercial businesses. So there's that. So next slide, please, Bronwyn. Where else we got? More horrible statistics. Oh, hello. Can't get it quite right. I think, have we gone backwards? Oh, there we go. Let's get rid of that. One plastic. So lots of plastic. Let's go with that one. That'll do. Yes, sure. I'm just looking at the slide. Thank you. So what we've got here, so what does actually get recycled in our local communities? And where does it go? What happens to it? So it would have been great if Warwick District Council was here today, but obviously they can't make it because of the sensitive period or whatnot. But it does say quite clearly on their website what they can and can't recycle. And it is shipped off to other companies in the area, but like I say, a lot of it gets shipped abroad still, and it's actually unclear as to what happens to our plastic if you follow the link. It's not clear at all. But what I've provided, which is on most of your tables, but not all tables, is a list of what they do and don't do. And if you want my list afterwards, I can give you a link and a copy to it. The thing is, I know a lot of people want to think that all of their plastic can be recycled, and so I think a lot of us, we put it in the bin in the hopes that we're doing the right thing and it's going to be recycled. However, flimsy stuff like those flimsy plastic pullback lids that come in on fruit packets, you know, they can't be recycled. So if you're not sure whether Warwick District Council recycles it, it is better off going in your main rubbish. Because plastic's so light, it blows off and it travels into the sea, basically. So if you're not sure if it can be recycled, it's my opinion that it's better to go in the bin. Yes?
Sainsbury's and some other large stores have this commitment to recycle other things like biscuits.
Yes.
All that flimsy stuff, not what they would put.
Great idea. Yes. What's your name, sorry? Hi, Audrey. Audrey's dead right, and we do have to look around for independent businesses to try and recycle the difficult to recycle plastic. Ivan from the Lions was here, the Kenilworth Lions, and at the Lions they do lots of recycling. I see they've got a blister pack depository out the front there, so those are from your tablets, those plastic. And as Audrey says, apparently Sainsbury's can recycle these plastic bags and wrappers. So it's a difficult job to find places that will do this, and you do have to pay for it sometimes as well. So when our plastic gets shipped away to other countries, this is what happens. It gets put in massive piles like this and blows around. They haven't got proper technology to deal with this, and this is in developing countries. And you just get these massive heaps, and then eventually they try and burn it, if we go to the next slide, and it causes terrible problems, causing chronic health problems for local people and ruining the farmers' crops as the ashes come down and settle onto their crops. So this is all happening out of sight. This is really horrible and scary. So because plastic's so light and because it's not being recycled properly, what happens is it ends up getting blown into the sea. And this is a slightly out-of-date map, but currently there are about 5 trash islands, if you like, which are predominantly made of plastic because it floats and doesn't go away, doesn't biodegrade. And each of these is roughly the size of the state of Texas in America. They're huge. And it's a real problem. There's all sorts of amazing people there with independent enterprises trying to sort this problem out. It's a real problem. And these islands are just growing and growing the less we do about the plastic pollution crisis. And there's a woman, I think she's an environmental activist, just showing you the extent of how bad it is. Yep, more depressing pictures. Sorry about that. There are some good news pictures at the end. So, as far as climate breakdown goes, plastic is basically made out of crude oil. So, plastic is oil, basically. And at every stage of its life cycle, it's contributing towards global emissions. It's about 13%. So that's significant enough to warrant concern, you know. But of course, while big manufacturers are still making lots of money out of it, and while oil is a huge commodity and makes lots of money, this will continue to be the case, unfortunately. So that's where Plastic Free Kenilworth comes in, yeah. Okay, let's go on. So back to what Plastic Free Kenilworth actually is. It's an independent charity. Surfers Against Sewage have operated it. Now, the scheme is called Plastic Free Communities, and I took up the mantle of this when I was the mayor of Kenilworth back in 2019. And it's been a slog, to be honest. There's 5 objectives. So what we're trying to work towards is being awarded plastic-free community status. Now, in order to achieve that, we as a group have to meet these 5 objectives, and then Kenilworth will have the kudos of being a plastic-free community. But it goes on after that as well. We have to maintain our work. So objective 1, our town council has to lead by example to remove single-use plastic items from their premises. Now, this has already been put in place by the town council, which was great. But as a town councillor, as myself, I stand as the representative. I'll find someone else when I leave. And we drink out of glass bottles. Nobody brings single-use plastic into meetings, so we're discouraging that across the board. And we've also passed a motion to say that the town council will help with anything plastic-free related that they can. So the Kenilworth Town Council is on board. We've passed a motion. So objective 1, tick. We've done that. So next slide, please. So objective 2, local businesses. Now, a lot of our local businesses are really proactive in trying to reduce the amount of single-use plastic that they use. Lots of cafes and coffee shops are doing really, really well in swapping out stirrers and sachets of sauces, having biodegradable cups and take-out containers that are biodegradable, tea bags that aren't made of plastic, and it schemes to encourage you to bring you your own reusable cup with a discount. So we've got a lot of them now. Because the population of Kenilworth, or the population of any town, dictates just how many businesses you have to convert before you get that objective. We've got to do 12, and I think we've done about 5 so far. But everybody's really busy, you know, it's hard to get hold of people. But a lot of them we're converting retrospectively, because a lot of people are keen to do this because they know that the public want less single-use plastic. So we're coming along nicely with that one. It's still a work in progress. Oh, and when they do convert to plastic-free, they only get one of these certificate. And you're never going to believe this. One of these. It's made of wood. It's not very good, so we're having them put in non-plastic frames for them, so it looks a bit more nice. So if you know any businesses, they could get this illustrious award, which looks good when you're advertising as well, I think. Well, hope they do too, so that's what you get. So let's move on to the... Hello. Yes. Yes, they will. Yeah, so actually I don't have a list. They've all been celebrated on our Facebook page, and I know the Virgins and Castle, they've displayed this, but it's such a paltry little thing that we're having to we're going to get some of those 3D frames, you know, where you can, because this is thick, and just to make it a bit more illustrious, you know, because at the moment it's a bit, so yeah. But they're on our website, but that's a good idea, you know, we could celebrate it still further. I try and get it on the news as well, on the Kenilworth Nub News and Kenilworth Vibes, so whenever somebody converts, I try and make it as public as possible. This is it. Yes. To celebrate it. Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to get them made a bit more prominent, but good idea, yes. So objective 3, the local community. Now this is actually coming along quite nicely at the moment. The last time I gave a talk was at the, what was it called? The environmental church fair just before Christmas. Jan Bernal, what's it called? The Eco Fair, that's it. So actually I didn't do a talk at the last Eco Fair, actually, because they had too many speakers. However, we did collect lots of names from the community, so our little group has grown to about 6 members now. Come on. We've got the Kenilworth Lions have pledged to be part of our steering group, so that's great. And I'm here at the church today, so hopefully they're going to be part of our community as well. So we've got to, and also we've got Sam Pater, who is headmaster of Clinton School. He's been incredibly vociferous and very active now. He's become part of the group, and he's been in touch with all of the schools in Kenilworth who've agreed to join the plastic-free pledge. So this is really great. We've really started to get some traction in this last year. Moving forward. And yes, so I try and give as many talks as possible and talk to as many people as possible, so that's coming along really nicely. Moving on, Bronwyn. So we try and do at least one local event a year, and we've got, so we've done a litter pick so far, several litter picks actually. We're going to do another one this year. We've got great partners like the Engine Pub. Ted there is an amazing guy. He just supports everything that we do. And we make it fun as well. So we have a little barbecue afterwards, or some hot dogs, including vegan hot dogs and gluten-free buns. We do the whole thing. And we've actually had quite a good laugh doing some of these litter picks. It's quite, when the children come, you know. And we've even got high-vis vests. Okay, so if you wanted to do an independent litter pick, I can lend you some of these. And then you can get litter pickers from Warwick District Council. Where are you? And yeah, but you can get them for free as well, so that's nice. And we did oh, hello, yeah. Yes, we have to. So if there's any, we try and keep a sort of bag for stuff that we know can definitely be recycled. But like I said, if there's any doubt, in my opinion, it's better to go in the bin unless you've got a service like what the Lions offer and whatnot. But yeah, we do. We try. Yeah, so that's that. So next one. Yeah, but if you want to be part of our resistance group, that sounds great, doesn't it? It's like LOLO or something, you know. So, yeah, we're working up to getting these people on board, you know. We've got the church, and George is really interested as well. I know he's a really busy man. We've got the Lions. I've been in touch. My latest project, just individually, is trying to support the Kenilworth Half Marathon and the Two Castles Run, to not use all those disposable plastic bottles at the runs, because that's a hell of a sight to see when we're in a pollution crisis. And I did manage it, actually, when I had the clout of being the mayor, with the Kenilworth Half Marathon in 2019, and we did manage to use standpipes and industrially compostable plastic cups. It was a lot better than having all those little bottles. So I'm really working hard to try and make that happen for both those runs this year, hopefully. It's not easy, though. It is not easy. Yes, so I won't be the council member. I'm not standing again this year, but my colleagues, I will be able to get one, so don't worry, I'll be fine. Okay, so let's move on. Yes, I think I've just covered all that off. I've done several talks in schools as well. So we are moving forward nicely. Now we've got a few more people in the group since the Eco Fair. We've got links to different areas of the community, and that's only growing. So that's good. If you want to join us as well, I've got a little form you can put your email on, so it'd be great to have some new people on board. We want enthusiasm and friendliness, actually, because we can't get too cross about this, otherwise we can't get people on board, you know, it's hard. Yeah, so yeah, we want to create a community, and we want it to be fun. We want people who join us to have a good time. Hello, at the back there. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so mass and wrap, we did that when we first set sail. Basically, Sainsbury's were really good, actually. So what we did is we got a couple of shopping trolleys and some degradable wrappings, like tinfoil and greaseproof paper. And as people went in the shop, we said, would you mind awfully, when you come out, taking all the single-use plastic off all of your products and putting it in this shopping trolley here, and we'll rewrap it for you, you know. And a lot of people were like, yeah, we'll do it. Anyway, it was great. So they came out, and we'd taken the wrappers off cheese and bread and all sorts, and we had all these, and we filled up, in 2 hours, 2 full-size shopping trolleys in 2 hours at one shop in Kenilworth. And I think it's more of a sort of stunt, if you like, because it's not feasible to take all your wrappers off in protest at the supermarket. It would be great if everybody had the time to do that, you know. But what it was meant to do is flag up just exactly what volume of single-use plastic is being chucked away, just 2 hours, one supermarket in one location. So it's very sad, actually. So that's what it was. So it's a publicity stunt, really. So there was 3 things. I just remembered another thing we used, actually. We used tinfoil, we used greaseproof paper, and you know those little biodegradable bags that you put inside your, yeah, you know those little green ones? Say that again. That's it, food caddy liners for the composting. We used those as well. So it worked out. It was a right old faff, yeah. But we did it, and people enjoyed it. People wanted to participate for the best part, so that's heartening. A lot of people are really bothered about this, you know. Okay, I think we'll move on to the next slide. So, what can you do to reduce single-use plastic? There's some really easy, quick wins where you can change what you do, small changes to your everyday life, you know. Stop buying those bottles of water or, you know, when you just have a drink. Or if you've still got one, reuse it, you know. I always have. I've got 2 of these, but I left one at the pub the other day, actually, I forgot. These are great, and you can unscrew them, look. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, so I take this everywhere with me, and there's actually a scheme that Anne Barry, who's part of our group, called Refill, and it's run by Severn Trent Water. We're reawakening all of this since COVID. It's taken a time for businesses to start getting into it. Anyway, you can take your empty container into any of the shops or restaurants that have got a refill sticker, and they will fill up your thing again with tap water. You know, there's some resistance to this in some places, but for the best part, you can do this. I always take 2 just in case. A bit heavy though. So there's that. The other thing you can do if you're a coffee lover is to keep one of these in your car. I mean, I take it to the service stations as well. You know, those Costa machines, it just tipples over ever so slightly. But yeah, I take it everywhere I go. I feel very self-righteous when I do as well, actually. Anyway. Oh, and then we've got straws, so don't buy any more plastic straws. I think they are illegal now, but you can get these metal ones, and then to clean it, look, you've got a little tiny brush. It's very satisfying. And the other one is, don't use any more plastic bags, you know. I mean, I have this little fella. Somebody bought it for me for Christmas years ago, and I thought, never use that. I use it all the time. It's so small, it goes in my handbag, and that means if I've accidentally forgotten to come out without a bag, got this bad boy. Oh, very sustainable and small. So there's that. And actually, not this eco fair gone, but the one before, we actually got people to sign a letter to Jeremy Wright, and we wrote to him, and 85 people got involved, and we did an interview with Jeremy Wright to show him that we weren't happy. And although he came up with all the good answers as to what's happening with plastic, we found that many of his solutions were not policeable. So whilst they sounded good in theory, how you actually weights and measure that and see that what they're saying is actually happening seems spurious. So yeah, please write to your MP. Keep the pressure on there. Next slide, please. Oh, look, it's a happy slide. But don't despair, okay, because the solutions are out there. All the technology to change this is there. It just takes big business and our government's time to see that it's profitable, because it's all to do with profit, really. Let's have a look. So, the first one. Oh, yeah. Great company. They live in Israel. There's other companies around the world, but I made contact with them because I saw a little clip from this guy called Naz. He does this thing called Naz Daily. And a company called Salutum in Israel. She's a chemist. This woman, I can't remember her name. And basically, they've made this substance that acts and behaves and can be used like single-use plastic. So you know the filmy bits on top of fruit punnets and things like that. Those are the big ones. They're on everything, you know. But this stuff can be chemically engineered to dissolve in water and be completely earth neutral. And how quickly that dissolves is designed in the chemistry. So they can decide how long it will resist the water before it actually biodegrades. I get a bit confused, but this is real. They've won an award for it. And the goo of it all that makes the plastic can be used in existing plastic production machines. So it's not even as if you have to get a whole new set of machines to use this stuff. This is why it's so frustrating, because these people are amazing. So there's that. Salutum, so there's a solution. That's just one company, and I've actually spoken to them as well, so they're good. So you can see what's happening there. The fake plastic has just dissolved completely, and if you look them up on YouTube, you'll see a demonstration, and then you can actually drink the water. So that's how planet-friendly it is. Just trying to make you feel better, because otherwise it's a bit dark, isn't it? This is a really good one, yeah? HIRU, that stands for Home Environmental Recycling Unit or something like that. I went to see these guys as well. They live in just outside Stratford. I actually went to see this technology. I can't go too much into the technology of it because I'm a bit confused, but basically it looks like a spin dryer, if you like. It's about the shape and size of a spin dryer. And you open it up, and you can put all your rubbish in it, apart from glass and metal. So this includes plastic. It'd be a great solution for plastic. And then it's got these sort of heating rods that go up through it. And by a process of pyrolysis, you can look that up. But basically, it takes the plastic down to a selection of oils, and ash. And the local water authorities say that's completely fine to be processed through their normal processing units for water. In fact, I think one of the elements actually helped the whole system, in fact. So that's it. And then the out product of this pyrolysis is being able to heat your home with your rubbish, basically, so you can heat up your water and power the home. How good's that? So we could be shoving all our plastic in there and having nice hot houses and baths. Job's a good one. HIRU. So there's a picture of it. I'm sure you all can make sense of that. But wouldn't it be great if all new builds had some kind of system like this, where we could literally, so when we are looking at all these new builds and everything, what systems are being put in place to cope with pollution and climate change? That'd be ace, wouldn't it? But it's still in its infancy. They've been using it in care homes to get rid of soiled nappies and sheets, but it powers the care home, which is amazing. So there you go, complicated diagram. But again, you can look them up, Next slide, please. More things. Oh, this is a goodie. This is a great one. A mushroom that eats plastic. This is really happening. So I know that Kew Gardens have been trialling this. Basically, it's most types of mushroom can do this. It eats the plastic. The mushroom eats the plastic and takes it all up into its being. And then you can use, and then the mushroom, once it's eaten the plastic, you can only eat the mushroom as well, but it tastes like aniseed. So if you like aniseed mushrooms, you are in. I bet a whole new recipe book will come out of this. But also the mushrooms, if you don't like the taste of aniseed, they can be used as a great packaging solution. All sorts, that goo that the mushrooms make, well, firstly it's biodegradable and you can make things out of it as well. So that's super duper, isn't it? There they are, look, little fellas. And there's a lady looking at them eating plastic. That's your lot. Thank you for listening. Oh, any questions? Any questions at all? Oh, yes, sir. Sorry, Dan. Sorry, yeah. And the lady in the audience. I've got to switch it on, Anne. I think it's at the bottom.
What is the name of the mushroom that eats the plastic?
Not sure. I think that most mushrooms, is it shiitake? Not sure, but if you look up, if you look up Kew Gardens and or if you just put in a Google search, mushrooms that eat plastic, there's a plethora of information. And I don't think it's just one type of mushroom. I think it's a good selection. It's very interesting. Yes?
Right. I've bought some stuff that I wanted, if you could tell me whether I can recycle it and where I can recycle it. I've bought a bag of items.
Oh.
Could I bring them to the front and ask?
Oh, well, you can give it a go. Yeah, let's have a look, because it might be helpful for everybody else as well, actually. Come on up, madam. Let's have a look at these items. What's this about?
on Warwick District Council's website, it says they take paper, but it doesn't say what to do with this paper with the plastic envelope. Plastic bit on the envelope.
You see, for me, so here we're talking about, I don't know if you can hear, paper with a plastic envelope. My answers to these are not necessarily informed, but this is what I do. I just rip the little window out.
I believe that these
Jan.
days you can actually put the whole thing in.
You can?
Yes.
Well, you can all help me with
Yeah.
this, because I'm not an expert.
That's
Jan,
what they
yeah?
had on the website last year.
You just
With
leave
the
it
new
on?
collection, but it's not showing anything.
It's not.
I will.
I am learning. Apparently this isn't plastic. It's not plastic.
So,
You can put that in normal paper.
yeah.
Thanks, Jan.
Because they, on the website last year, before they changed to the new collection, it said you could put that envelope with that non-plastic in. But the
It's
website at the moment is really unhelpful. It just says,
I know.
It just says paper. It doesn't say whether I can put that in.
I think they're sort of mitigating, I think they're trying to be very careful about what they say, because the pressure's on now environmentally. So the last time I looked as well, it was severely
Yeah, it just says
redacted.
paper.
Yeah, it's not as helpful as it was.
So what was the verdict on that?
Well,
Do I need to rip that off?
No. Jan says that these paper windows are recyclable plastic, so that's good.
So this is a food tray. It's a poppadom tray. When it says, so you'd think you'd be able to put it with the plastics, but it actually says on it, don't recycle.
The do not recycle refers to the film on the top, not the actual packet.
Well, this bit, that won't be recyclable by the district council. It says here, it says food and drink, plastic bottles, pots, tubs and trays. So according to the Warwick District Council, you can,
Yeah.
however,
It says
don't recycle.
You remove that
that
and put
can
it in
go
the
off.
bin, and then that can be, yes.
Mine's
Yeah.
got crumbs.
Yes. Yeah, I believe that Sainsbury's and Morrison's
I have so little fun.
and Aldi will take the film off various products. So I've got a little bag and I pop them in the little bag.
But it puts them under pressure, but this is just the sort of thing that
Shove it in.
blows off. I'm pretty hardcore. Sometimes I just put it in the bin because I'm just not sure. I don't know what's true and what's not true.
So then what about things like this? It says it's recyclable. But it's not a bottle, is it?
I don't think so.
Even though it says it's recyclable.
I don't think so. You'd need a specialist for something like that. It doesn't mention it on the list. I'll tell you.
It's a face wash. No, it's a face wash.
Yeah,
This
if
is
you-
so good.
Boots have a big system whereby you can sign up and take along any product that is from toothpaste to makeup to face products, etc. And there's a big bin. You put it in there, and you get points. And as we all know, points takes money off your next spend. So
Because I'd emailed them and they
that's
said
in Boots.
I needed to contact the 123 collection people. They couldn't tell me what they
It used to be quite near the front. When you're in the front door, it was there. But you need to read the thing, and you have to sign up for it. But sometimes I just pop it in and...
I like the way they've covered it in paper.
Well, I haven't actually signed up. If they recycle it, they'll recycle it. I won't get the points, you know.
I think that's just in the bin. I have to take it. Yeah, it's too close.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hi there.
The unrecyclable plastics, can they not be shredded and used as infill? I'm sure I've read in India that they do this with the new roads they make. And
Yes.
It's like hardcore.
Yeah, there's some ingenious uses of leftover plastic. Just that's recycling, and so it should be. But I don't know a lot about that, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. And also, I think the main problem really now is in the third world, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And so perhaps they can be encouraged. I don't know why the governments don't get local people to collect plastics.
They
and
do.
give them money for it.
Yeah.
And then shred it.
if it wasn't for local community groups, again, the government is a bit flaccid in this respect in developing countries, then nothing would happen. A lot of people voluntarily go and pick the plastic up. And yes, you're right, it can be sold on. But the governments aren't brilliant at organising it. There's lots of people now. Sorry, lady in the red at the back there.
Hi, it's just to say that the Body Shop take any makeup plastics, and there isn't a system, because the boot system, you have got to sign up and
For
go
an award
through
card.
Yeah, whereas the Body Shop, you just take any makeup plastic stuff from anybody. It's not just theirs.
That's good to know. I did actually get a £5 back because I'm a massive Body Shop user, and they gave me a £5 for taking my plastics back in. This is really helpful, thanks very much. Yes.
Hi, most things you buy have a recycling label that tells you whether they can or can't. I'm never too sure about these hard plastic tubs that you buy health supplements in, because they don't have a recycling thing. Some of them have a symbol on the bottom about what sort of plastic it is, but I've no idea whether...
If I'm honest, I don't know.
Where should I put them, in the recycling or in the waste?
Just from what I'm learning today, that boots, perhaps take it back to boots, or if Body Shop are taking any plastic, then take it to Body Shop.
Right.
Another thing actually is Costa Coffee. You know, a lot of cups that you buy from the coffee shops look like they're paper, but actually they've got a plastic lining. Now, Costa Coffee, they will recycle not only their own cups, but any cups from any other place as well. But they don't advertise it. And neither do Sainsbury's advertise the fact that they take plastic bags. I'm still wondering just how kosher some of these things are, if I'm honest. But, yeah.
Sainsbury's, I checked on their website yesterday, it was there.
Yeah.
And then when I took it back in, I asked one of the managers, and they said you can either put it into their plastic bag, or I just go to them and they have got a special taken out the bag.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, even the photo taking.
Yeah.
Just right.
They said if you've got a phone, that's where you can use it. You can have something and they've got two big things. Just have to store, one for the cardboard, one for plastic.
Thank you. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, anybody else? Hi.
Is the content of the litter bins in Kenilworth sorted before or they just dumped in?
Well, you know, again, according to official sources, they would say yes. However, when I was jogging a few months ago, as I go jogging around the Abbey Fields, and I stuff litter at my jumper, and then when I get to a recycling point, I put it in or put the litter in. Anyway, just as I was putting my litter into the things you're saying with the 3 sections, the man turned up to pick it up and he goes, "Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, love, it all goes to the same place anyway." And one of the people at the church here had a similar message when she went in to recycle some hard plastic at the tip as well. They said, "Oh, it all goes to the same place anyway." So it's what people say and what people do. There's a disparity sometimes. I'm not sure about that. It would be really good if Warwick frickin' District Council was here. Maybe they would squirm, like, you know. Anyway, who's next? Hi.
Compostable and recyclable, please. I used to know what that meant, but now with the new system, is it okay if I don't have a compost heap, so I can't put bags and things like that on compost? Should I put it in recyclable or should I put it in waste? I've been putting it in waste because I thought it might damage the recyclable.
God, that's a good question. I know there's 2 different types. See, it's redefining words sometimes, a little bit greenwashy, you know. So there is compostable, you'd have thought would remain the idea of compostable all its life, wouldn't you? But now it's got varying different meanings. It can mean that there is 2 two types that I know of, which is industrial composting, where, yes, it will return to a natural state, but the temperatures need to be a lot higher. So it's a different process to the natural heat that's generated in the decomposition process. So
in a compost heap.
So I don't think you can put it in a compost heap.
No.
If I'm honest, I do put things that I think might biodegrade in my little food caddy. In the food, you know, the little baby green one,
yes.
And then you put it into the big green one. I don't know what I'm doing now.
And put the little containers or even bags, could you put in there?
Yeah, I do. I just sort of, which goes against my own advice really, but I'm hoping that that's some kind of industrial composting. But again, it's all hope and wish, isn't it?
And it's all so different.
An anaerobic digester. Oh God, anaerobic digesters. What does that look like? It sounds like a great big beast. It sounds like some creature.
An anaerobic digester is a system that basically brews all the mix until you get off methane. And you take the methane off and you get left with kind of compost of what you got left. And farmers can then use that on their fields.
Oh.
The gas can be burnt off and electricity generated straight away. Or it can be used as gas, and then there's waste heat they can use for drying things on the farm. And there's a company on Stonley Park that is the UK agent for a big German company that sells these right across the country. But they're very large installations. They cost, a couple of million a throw or something.
That sounds amazing.
You can't have one in your back garden.
Thanks, Jan. That's really interesting.
Hello. I'm just wondering how much pressure is put on shops, particularly supermarkets, on reducing their plastic. Do you know?
Well, the mass unwrap. I think yes. The more people who can individually write to supermarkets to say what's going on, what is your policy as far as plastic reduction goes. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no legislation or law to force them to do anything. And I think a lot of our big suppliers are doing well to do the little that they are doing, actually. But the more we can put pressure on them, which is one of the themes of the mass unwrap, really, is to draw attention to how much plastic supermarkets are using. So anything that you can do, even if you've got a petition signed by everybody down your street saying, we don't want it, we want to know what you're going to do. Anything you can do to activate even your street would be amazing, keep it up. That's why we did the interview with Jeremy Wright, really. He's just to say, nope, not happy with this. Okay.
Right, everybody, thank you so much for coming. Sorry, we have
George.
The main man, sorry.
I'm not sure about the main man, but welcome to Abbey Hill. I do happen to be the church leader. A statement and a question. We have an eco group here at this church. I suspect most churches have one. I don't know what organisations you belong to. There is no earthly reason, if you're part of a group, that you can't set up an eco group and do much more even than what Alison is talking about with plastic recycling, but that's certainly part of it. So there's the statement. The second is a question. Forgive me. Who gives a crap? I'm not talking about this morning. I'm talking about bamboo toilet rolls. Yeah, we converted in our house just after Christmas a company called Who Gives a Crap. You see, I'm not being rude. I'm quoting from the wrapper here. On the wrapper, it says, good for your bum, great for the world. Because, of course, bamboo grows at an enormous rate. It's not just good for pandas, it is good for us. If we use bamboo, it grows at an enormous rate, and it's tremendous. There are other suppliers of bamboo toilet rolls. We bought a pack of 48. They're about £1 each, which sounds very expensive, of course. Actually, this is a bit too much detail for you. I'll tell you and then forget I've told it to you. We are using one toilet roll, just two of us in the house, admittedly, between 9 and 10 days worth of use we get out of it. Neither of us suffers from constipation. That's as much detail I will give you. You can buy them, I believe, from supermarkets. They give 50% of their profits, this company, to charity. The final thing on here, it says, is more people have mobile phones than toilets. What an incredible thing that is, isn't it? It's got nothing to do with recycling plastic, Alison. But if you buy these things, they're wrapped in paper. You can even use this to wrap things up again. I would commend you to transfer to bamboo toilet rolls as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Jan. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, consumer choice. I mean, that's what I'm hoping with the marathons, you know, if both of those runs don't buy all those plastic bottles, you know, that's a massive buy, isn't it, all those plastic bottles. So if we can change big things like that. It's really hard, though.
I know that a lot of the supermarkets do sell recycled toilet paper. Well, not toilet paper from recycled, but toilet roll made from recycled paper. And it always amazes me that people are prepared to pay a lot of money to flush good paper down the loo. I'm a great fan of the recycled toilet rolls. Anyway, thank you all very, very much for coming, for all your questions, and I hope you've learnt things. I certainly have learnt one or two things about this, and it is just horrific, the amount that goes abroad, and we really do need to campaign for our government to get everything that we produce recycled here. So watch out, we shall have letters to send to the government, to send to our MP, and I hope you'll all be prepared to sign up for them. But thank you for coming, and have a good trip home. Thank you. And thank you, Alison, so much. And we're gone and gone.